Good morning, good morning, good morning. May 20th, and I always forget the date. It's just going by so quick. The month of May, we're in here, and we're deep in May, racing towards the end. Amen. Welcome to the Amir Shakur Speaks Morning Show. It's May 20th, and welcome again. Setting the pole, waking up, establishing authority, and we want to do it with intention, with purpose. Peace and power to the early risers, the truth seekers. And if you tune in to the heartbeat of the culture, then I'm your host, Amir Shakur. Fresh news while you were asleep last night, and we're up again. We're here, and we're getting ready to do our thing. So good morning, good America. Good morning, America. Okay, is what I really want to say. Welcome to Amir Shakur Speaks on the front lines of transparency, right? We're holding systems that govern us accountable, and want to say hi and what's up. Give a good, big, fat shout out to our folks in the UK, our folks in Canada, Ghana, the rising contingent. Thank you to the Al Jazeera Network Live for allowing us to broadcast on your networks. And we appreciate you guys, and always shout out with you, and definitely want to share your segments and your clips. So thank you, Al Jazeera. And for those who are just joining us, if you're joining us for the first time, like, subscribe, and share, or subscribe, share, and like, or share, like, and subscribe, whichever one you want to do. Just do one of those. One of those. Anyway, I'm your host, the man with the plan, Amir King 7 Shakur. And if you want to join our lovely VIPs in the VIP room, you want to go on to the Amir Shakur Speaks broadcast channel, and then Yes, you want to like, follow, and subscribe. Good morning to you. Good morning, and thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, UK, Canada, and the growing amount of countries that are joining us. Yep, hit that like button. Peace and power. Yes, you're rocking with it. Did I tell you were rocking with the sharpest mind in the E? Well, not in the E, but in the morning. But maybe I'll add on the E to that addition, all right? The sharpest mind in the morning. Okay, you corrected it. I see. All right, good morning to you as well. And thank you for joining again. We're going to get right to the news you can use. And like, subscribe, and share, and hit that button, please, y'all. So we're starting off this one with intention, and if you are joining us, just go on to the chat room on the channel, and Amir Shakur Speaks broadcast channel. Don't forget that, and just go ahead and your voice matters. Stand up and speak out. So we're gonna open up with the Georgia gubernatorial primaries, and this young lady right here, you see her. Miss Keisha Lance Bottoms, the Atlanta mayor, just secured an overnight Democratic Party victory, and for the governorship, and we're we knocked down, and really want to thank you and congratulate her. You know what? Let me do that right. Keisha Lance Bottoms, gubernatorial primary winner for Democratic. She's not a potential Republican challenger, but she is the projected winner. I think we might have a clip from last night. And Keisha's done a lot of work in the city of Atlanta, and she's definitely a crowd favorite, crowd pleaser. So we can definitely break into that a little bit, and when we get it ready to share, can we pull that up and make sure we got it. All right, let's stand by while we pull that up, and there she is, Miss Keisha Lance Bottoms, and let's see what's going on, Miss Keisha. I believe this is from last night, but NBC, right?
Interesting one. This is in Georgia in the Democratic primary for governor. The projected winner, Keisha Lance Bottoms. And here's what's interesting. This is not a runoff, folks. This is a 50+1 state. handily defeating her opponents in this race, including Jeff Duncan there. We had spoken with Mike Thurmond earlier in the program, 100 hours ago now, it seems like, who had felt, I think, confident about where he was, but obviously it is Keisha Lance Bottoms who will move on in a race against either Trump backed Burt Jones, Rick Jackson, who spent a ton of money in the state of Georgia. Very interesting here, given the makeup of this race and the makeup of this state, too, which hasn't had a Democratic governor in almost 30 years.
To clear the 50% threshold.
That's what I mean, yeah.
With that many candidates?
But that was the question. If there was suspense, there was some suspense, obviously, around this race generally, but also runoff or not. I think that was, in many ways, the question here.
But I think it's significant because she's obviously the former mayor of Atlanta.
That's right.
So
that's right.
There was a sense that she was going to do
name
well.
recognition.
Front runner. I interviewed former Lieutenant Governor Jeff Duncan, who switched parties, by the way, from Republican to Democrat. As you and I have been talking about, the Trump factor has hung over this race because that's part of why he switched parties. And he was confident he was going to a runoff. And yet in these closing days, his path looked increasingly challenging. Let's go to Steve Kornacki. Steve, can you break down a little bit of how Keisha Lance Bottoms won outright tonight?
Yeah, well, I mean, it was overwhelming is the short answer. Let me just get the Democratic primary called up here. What did I press? There it is.
You got it. We're there.
It's a pretty simple story when the shade of blue we've assigned to Keisha Lance Bottoms is the shade of blue in every single county that's reported tonight. I think you were talking about it. The suspense that was coming into this was there was some chatter that there was some concern among Democrats that Bottoms, given her record as mayor of Atlanta, role with the Biden administration, might be a vulnerable candidate in the general election to Republican attacks. And if that was going to be something that took hold with Democrats, it would be in a runoff campaign when there'd be a one-on-one matchup with Bottoms and somebody else who could raise electability and see if that's something that Democrats were concerned about. But when Bottoms easily breaks 50%, there's not going to be a runoff. Those concerns clearly weren't deep enough on the Democratic side to prohibit her from getting through tonight. And it's just an overwhelming top-to-bottom victory here for Bottoms in this primary tonight. Not much to say about the look. She's the former mayor of Atlanta, and she's done this without a single vote from Atlanta.
Wow. Well, so this is so interesting, Steve, because I will tell you that there are those in her orbit who do feel like, and this is how one source close to her put it to me, that she, in a general, can really appeal to some of those suburban swing voters, as we know in Metro Atlanta, because of what she has done in the city. They see, her record maybe is standing on its own against somebody like a Jones or a Jackson, even in what's going to be a sort of an interesting, competitive, potentially gubernatorial race.
Yeah, no, I mean, look, the governor's race will be competitive. The Senate race, obviously, we already know is going to be extremely competitive here. We also know that Democrats in Georgia, in their statewide success, Joe Biden was able to narrowly carry the race in 2020. Democrats won those Senate runoffs in 2021. And Raphael Warnock was able to get elected to a full term in 2022. Democrats in their successes in Georgia statewide have had black candidates on the ballot statewide. When Joe Biden won that in 2020, that was, Warnock was on that ballot. He made the runoff from that election. Warnock got himself elected in 2022 outright, over Herschel Walker. So Democrats, and we've seen an interesting dynamic tonight, too, by the way. This is a bit of an obscure point, but in these state Supreme Court races that we're getting some attention here, where the Democrats put two candidates up. One of those candidates was white, one of those candidates was black. The African-American candidate is running far better tonight in those court races than the white candidate is. There are some gaps in these counties that we're seeing of 30, 40 points between those candidates. So, this will be, just by nature of Georgia, it's a competitive state now in every presidential election. The increasing Democrat, we've seen this trend over the last decade or so in this Atlanta metro area. The Democrats have been doing, they didn't do quite as well as they were wanted in 2024, but overall there's a very pronounced Democratic trend in the Atlanta suburbs here. The Democrats are thinking one of these years is going to tip the state more from sort of swing, a little bit more Republican friendly, into a little bit more Democratic friendly. There are Democrats who talk about Georgia as a state that long-term could be on a political and demographic trajectory, at least they hope, is similar to Virginia. We used to think 20 years ago of Virginia as a red state. The demographics change the population, toward that Washington, D.C. metro area. Democrats think that Atlanta metro area could do something long-term similar for them here in Georgia.
All right.
Thank you for watching. And
So
remember,
if you're
stay updated on
just,
breaking news and
let's
top
go
stories
ahead
on the
and
NBC News app or watch live on
thank
our
you,
YouTube channel.
NBC. All right, so if you're just joining us, we are, just talking about Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms and her wonderful, wonderful victory in Georgia. And hey, are we turning the red state blue, Georgia bleed Georgia red, and all that other kind of stuff? Whatever that little slogan they got, maybe they might be bleeding blue, huh? Go ahead, Miss Keisha. We're very proud of you. And congratulations, Keisha. Congratulations. We are, well, you say positive news, no Trump BS. Well, we got a little bit of that too, because it's never ending. But thank you, Miss Keisha. And we're gonna move right along. Yeah. No flipping red. No, we gonna get them blue. I'm gonna go ahead and go to a segment which I normally don't go to before we go to the next story. Next story is a little bit complex, so we're gonna go to the segment you all know and love so much. A picture can tell 1,000 words. 1,000 words. So, if you have a graduation or a bar mitzvah, or, maybe, you had some cats that were just born and you want to share the picture with me, post all of the, the little, after effects. We want them clean and everything for you. We put it on global prime time. But anyway, at this point, a picture can tell 1,000 words. And, this one is a staff pick, and this one is going around, circulating around. It's Sasha Obama wearing a mega hat, and this one we've seen lately. And guess what, guys? This is what you call desperation from the mega folks, because they got the former president Barack Obama's daughter Sasha wearing the mega hat. Well, guess what? Not in a million years was she wearing the mega hat. And basically, this is what you call an extreme deep fake. Deep fake. Did I say it was a deep fake? Let me highlight that, and let me say it in another way that you might understand it. This is a deep fake. This is a deep fake. All right. We're back to normal now. Thank you there. That's a deep fake, guys. So, nice try, and Sasha wouldn't be rocking with the mega crew because of her dad, and I'm sure her dad would have a heart attack. So, guys, let those fantasies go and, move on to something better with your life. But, nice try. Anyway, get that out of here. Let's go back to a picture can tell 1,000 words. Yep. Okay. One more time. Encore. Okay. What did you say? Give him an encore for a nice try. Okay. Let's give him a round of applause for a nice try. And then give him a gong because it was so corny. All right, guys. So if you have anything that you need, that you want to be broadcast, send it to Amir Shakur Speaks at gmail.com. And as your host, the sharpest mind in the morning and on the internet, I'm going to go ahead and leave that right there. And check me out on email, Amir Shakur Speaks at gmail.com. And we got your back. All right. So let's go on to the news. And somebody said no Trump stuff, no Trump stuff. I think the BS word was used, or in syllables and comment in your comments. Okay, yeah. Did you say that? Okay, well, guess what we got? We got some Trump BS. All right. Well, you know what? Here's what we got. The IRS, nevertheless, the Trump administration has finalized a deal to drop a $10 billion lawsuit against the IRS in exchange for the creation of a 1.7 billion. I'm sorry, let me get the M out and put it with the B. 1.7 billion anti-weaponization fund intended to compensate his prosecuted allies. All right. So a little bit about that. There is a fiery backlash from Hakeem Jeffries, and maybe, guys, we can pull that clip up, and 92 other congressional Democrats that filed an amicus brief attempting to block the settlement, calling it a slush fund, citing a specter of corruption and unparalleled U.S. history. So here's what it is. Let me explain what the Trumpster is up to now. So basically, he's created a slush fund after suing the government and dropping the lawsuit. So what happened. The IRS, the DOJ sued the IRS because Trump's tax returns when he was running for the presidency were released by the IRS, which is something that a president normally does as a policy anyway. So he sued, and he won against himself. So the president of the United States suing with two departments which he controlled. Okay, so basically it's a scam nonetheless. And basically, a federal judge jumped in and intervened as a result of a community group who urged and said, hey, how is two government agencies that are controlled by President Trump suing themselves, for things that should have normally been released anyway, which is the president's tax returns, and for such a hefty dollar amount. So the slush fund actually was supposed to go to, if one was supposed to go to the members of the January 6th Commission, and basically anybody else who the president deemed that they should go to. So 1.7 billion, I should say. So before the federal judge ruled on it, and the federal judge had major concerns because of, who would get these funds. Well, basically it would be 4 people who would be over the funds, and they would be, the settlement would be something that Trump dictated from his 4 people from his slush fund, which was a result of tax returns which he was supposed to release. And I mean, it's just a cluster like none other. And the details of the settlement have been released by the Department of Justice, outlining a structure in which critics are calling the slush fund, and it is, and it's a weaponization fund. I mean, the deal resolves, the $10 billion federal lawsuit. Let's look at a little bit of the clip that we have, and according to pundits, this is one of the biggest scams ever perpetrated by a sitting president in U.S. history. All right, and just when you thought he can get lower, he got lower. There's no lower than the low that he has right now. That's pretty dang on low. And guess what, Mr. Trump? How low can you go? Brother want to know. He's going low, y'all. He's reaching low. Let's look at the clip. I can't even rap on it because it's just so freaking pathetic. Here we go. MS Now.
And the administration's unparalleled $1.8 billion taxpayer-funded apparent payout scheme, slush fund, whatever you want to call it, when he was questioned by senators. Just watch this.
This is an outrageous, unprecedented slush fund that you set up. Simple question. Will individuals who assaulted Capitol Hill police officers be eligible for this fund?
Well, as it makes plain, anybody
just let me know if they're eligible for the fund.
As was made plain yesterday, anybody in this country is eligible to apply if they believe they were victim of weaponization.
Mr. Attorney, you're not going to submit this proposal to any federal judge or independent.
There is no judge.
Any independent authority?
What does that mean, an independent authority?
It means not somebody who's getting to pick 5 of the members who was the president's former personal attorney. That would be somebody who would be independent.
I'm the acting attorney general, okay?
And
The fact
also-
that I used to be President Trump's lawyer is just a fact, but I'm the acting attorney general. So don't say the president's former personal lawyer will do something. The acting attorney general will do something.
Mr. Attorney General, you are acting today like the president's personal attorney.
People keep asking, how do we actually get an AI agent on our team? Well, it's easy. Watch how I do it in 60 seconds on Monday. First, tell Monday what you need. We're creating an agent and naming him Tony. Now let's give him context. I'm giving Tony access to the
So if
relevant
you're
boards,
just joining
let's
us,
say
we're
brand,
still
asset library,
waiting. We're
production
waiting
board,
for
and
the commercial skip on that. And thank you for that commercial. And normally we edit, but you know what? It's always good to, let the advertisers do their thing. But if you're just joining us, the quote of the moment is about this presidential slush fund that basically is a result of President Trump suing his own departments that he's in control of with his own DOJ, with his own DOJ leader. And basically, there's no, it's a case of the foxes watching over the chicken house, basically. All right, let's go ahead and just play a little bit more about that. So, just the average person can understand what's going on, but we'll listen in.
Can scowl and demand and melt down as he just did and to tell everybody that they have to call him the acting attorney general. But as Senator Van Hollen pointed out there, his actions certainly appear to be those of a personal attorney. Blanche basically did his best there to defend what amounts to a payout fund for MAGA allies, which Trump himself began to tease as a possibility last year. But I guess there was some good news for Blanche today. His appearance, or shall I say performance, before a very skeptical Senate subcommittee came hours after and not before the release of his signed one-page addendum, making the whole payout fund thing look even worse. The addendum, of course, broadens the deal between the government and Trump, including forever barring and precluding the IRS from pursuing past tax investigations or audits of Trump, his family, or his businesses. Joining me now is Democratic Senator Chris Van Hollen of Maryland. He's a member of the Senate Appropriations Committee. He is one of my favorite people to watch question people. I almost get nervous for them when I'm watching. But you did a heck of a job today questioning him. Let me ask you, it is quite the timing that this Blanche signed addendum came out hours after he testified before the Senate, and you and others asked him some very good questions. What was your reaction when you found out about that? And what would you have asked Todd Blanche if you had this information before today's hearing?
Well, Jen, he clearly had trouble defending the slush fund that they announced just last night. So they clearly intentionally did not disclose this other part of the deal, which is essentially to give Trump and the Trump organization a get-out-of-free card for any back taxes they may owe because they cheated on their taxes in the past. So clearly, I would have drilled in on this piece of it as well. And what it just exposes is what I said, that everything Todd Blanche is doing as acting attorney general is acting like the president's personal attorney. This is exactly what.
All right, so we'll just stop it right there. And if you're just joining us, basically, President Trump created a slush fund from a lawsuit against two government agencies. Basically, both agencies were controlled by him, and basically, he was suing himself over tax returns that he should have released. Normally, which presidents do, but the IRS released his tax return for this last past election when he was elected. And the slush fund is what it's called, is designated to hear and financially redress claims from individuals who argue that they suffered from weaponization and government lawfare by the federal government. And basically, the fund would have been monitored by and controlled by 4 people who were designated by Donald Trump, and they would have went to Trump people. And basically, the other part about that is, these funds, quote unquote, were allegedly supposed to be released to folks who were prosecuted during the Biden administration. So, basically, hey, $1 million for you here, $1 million for you over there, $1 million for you here, buddy. I like you. Here's $1 million. Here's $1 million. You can get this. And here, you've been so good to me. We're friends, and that kind of stuff. It's sad, pathetic, and tragic at the same time. And Mr. Trump is just, he's just he never stops. He never stops. Anyway, what do you think, VIP? Let's get your opinion about this. And we're going to go into the other segment. If you're just joining us, please like, subscribe, and share to the Amir Shakur Speaks Morning Show, that is. And let's bring up, add to the stage my next segment and remove that and add my next segment. Mr. Trump, get out of here, All right, here we go. And that's the Amir Shakur Speaks editorial. Give us a second and we're prepared for that. And so here we go. So end of the show, here's the editorial piece. And cost of conformity, in the new treasury. So if history has taught us anything, I want you to clip this, okay? If history has taught us anything, it's about the nature of power, right? In that institutions rarely break from an outside strike, but they dissolve from within, one compromise at a time. And Mr. Trump has had many compromises in his administration, in his political lifetime. And today the dust settles on another seismic day in American politics, and we're witnessing the construction of a new political architecture where loyalty is the only currency that remains at its true value. Loyalty to who? Maybe the president of the United States. Maybe if you're a mega, there's the advanced loyalty that's described. If you're going to get a position, maybe it's a quid pro quo thing to where it's, one hand washes the other. So consider the landscape as the lights dim on Capitol Hill this evening, or in Kentucky where a 7-term incumbent and constitutional peeress, Representative Tom Massey, found out the hard way that independent thinking has become a freeable offense in the American sandbox. Massey, who built his entire brand on strict constitutional adherence, was unseated by a hand-picked Trump newcomer in the most expensive race and primary in U.S. history, a race defined not by local policy or constituent energy or service to the community, but a singular litmus test. What is that? Unwavering, uncritical loyalty. Loyalty to who? Mr. Trump. Well, the warning shot to the remaining independent voices in the legislature couldn't be louder. It can't be louder. To toe the line, or the machine will find out. They're going to find someone who will. The machine will find you. They'll put you up. We don't care if it's a dead rat. You're going to be running. You're going to be in that election, and you're going to be running. Yet the legislative branch tightens its ranks, and the executive branch is busy unwriting the rules of accountability entirely, and definitely trying to rewrite the American Constitution. The unveiling of a $1.7 billion slush fund, or anti-weaponization fund. Let's highlight that, guys, so we can just capture that energy. That is not only tragic, but it is ridiculous to say the least. The unveiling of a $1.7 billion. So imagine how good of a friend would you have if they gave you part of a $1.7 billion anti-weaponization fund, or some stuff that you were supposed to do anyway, which you were suing the law on. And basically you had two parties, your daughter and your son, and they were suing each other, and basically you guys intervened and said, hey, don't sue each other because we're family. We can all enjoy this together, and we can party together, so just give us all the money so we can go party. I mean, for a lack of better thing, that's a close approximation to what it is. By leveraging the judgment fund, the administration has successfully carved out a massive, loosely overseen capital pool designated to reward folks like the January 6th mob action folks who were out there beating up police at the Capitol. So when you pair a fund with an unprecedented blanket immunity, federal tax audit, federal tax lawsuit, and you're trying to make a traditional framework, basically, of checks and balances, okay, your loyalty to the Constitution of the United States becomes questionable. And as we say in my neck of the woods, when dissent is systematically purged at the ballot box and the parallel legal system is fundamentally, remember that word, given to the taxpayers, the question of the American public today isn't a partisan one. It's a fundamental question of governance. When the dust settles on this administration's grand redesign of the Constitution, what institutions will be left? What institutions will be left? Did I ask you what institutions will be left with the purge, with the great purge? So we want to keep our eyes open and keep standing and stay vigilant and keep watching these crooks, because what they're doing is criminal, to say the least. And if we let them get away with it, then we're the bigger fools than they are. We can't do it, folks. We can't do it. Let's stay on the front lines. Let's continue guarding and stay vigilant. And eventually we'll see an end to this madness one way or the other. Thank you, guys. Thank you, VIPs. Very few institutions will be left. Well, very few institutions will be left to, what you say, toe the line. But yes, we will keep reporting, and we'll keep holding down the line, and we'll keep you guys informed. You guys know how I do. It's Amir Shakur Speaks, and thank you for joining me, the sharpest mind in the morning. We got a lot of big losers out there, and we're gonna keep highlighting them. Some local losers coming up too, so just keep an eye out on that. But anyway, enough of that. Hey, listen, I appreciate you guys watching. We'll see you in the morning, same time, same channel. That's 8 o'clock Central Standard Time. I'm Amir Shakur Speaks, your host, the sharpest mind in the morning. And thank you again. I'm out of here. Peace.